This is Infinity, a golden, glowing, faceless symbol that made grown adults cry when it appeared on a children's maths show, voiced by Professor Brian Cox himself. One fan wrote, "I somehow predicted that Infinity and One would be friends, and I honestly shed a tear watching it. Series 8 was the pinnacle of Numberblocks episodes." Another said, "The last two episodes feel like I was watching Series 5 all over again, and I almost cried seeing Infinity." Infinity was, without question, the most exciting thing to come out of Numberblocks Series 8. But, and I really need you to sit with this, Infinity is a concept. It exists outside Numberland entirely, and it's in good company, because every single new character introduced in Series 8 falls outside the Numberblocks roster. We got bugs, we got a sorting machine, we got a robot, we got fraction characters, and we got Infinity. All of them doing something different, sure, but zero new Numberblocks. For a show literally called Numberblocks, that's a problem. So what the hell happened to Series 8? Let's get into it. The new characters. Series 8 introduced the Zoom Bugs, Dotty, Tutu, Trio, and Little Square Bug, who are pet ladybirds belonging to 1 through 4. They taught Perimeter in the Great Bug Race.
1 with Dotty, 2 with Tutu, 3 with Trio, and 4 with Little Square Bug.
Fly high and subscribe to Numberblock Pie. Thank you. Back to the video. We also got Sorty, 5's sorting assistant, a little vacuum-like machine that speaks in an unintelligible robotic voice.
Sorty the super sorter can help. Just say what kind of toy you'd like, and Sorty will sort them for you.
Oh, wow. Hello, Sorty.
Then there's Robo, an area repair expert.
It puts parts back together and makes things whole again. Isn't that right, Robo? Ooh. Do you think you can...
And finally, the Fraction Friends. 1 whole, halves, thirds, and quarters, the first non-integer characters in the show's entire history.
Would you like to share? How do we share this? 1 whole cake. All for you, all for me, all for us.
Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say these are bad characters. The Fraction Friends especially are a genuinely clever addition.
Or pizza! Or pie! Or anything you like!
Smash that like button if you want me to do a separate video on the Fraction characters. But the fan community barely noticed the others. No discussion threads for the Zoom Bugs. Robo has the weakest fan footprint of any character in the entire show. The Numberblocks wiki, which is the real hub of this fandom with over 37,000 posts, has essentially nothing on them. They served one educational purpose and then they were gone. And that's the issue. These characters are functional. They exist to deliver a single maths concept and then disappear. That is a fundamentally different show to the one that fans fell in love with. Numberblocks, at its heart, is about characters who are numbers. Characters whose personalities, designs, and stories grow out of their mathematical properties. That's what makes 5 musical and 11 a footballer. It's why 17 is an eccentric artist and 31 is a calendar. You take that away and you just got a maths lesson with cartoon characters. The Backlash. The fan community felt this hard. Series 8 dropped in 2 batches. The first 15 episodes in August 2025 and the second 15 in February 2026. And batch 1 was rough. A poll on the wiki titled "Do you like Numberblocks Series 8" pulled in 78 votes and dedicated fans leaned negative. Boring level 2 without new concept, said 1. Absolute worst Numberblocks series of all time, said another. And another simply said Numberblocks fell off. There was even a thread called "What's your main reason on hating Series 8?" And that title alone tells you everything. One fan explained, "Instead of continuing from the first batch's Yellow Level 3 and the new concepts, which I'm like, finally, no Orange Level 2 and cool concepts, they decide to go back to Orange Level 2, and even worse than Series 6, since they recap number bonds a lot." Another fan put it plainly. It was basically just watered down Orange Level 2 and number boards. Perhaps the most telling critique came from this fan. It lost storyline and storytelling. Remove that from the show and you get boring talking characters using the same repetitive concepts. That last one hits hard because it gets to the core issue. The show had lost its creative ambition. why No New Numberblocks? So, why did the creators make this choice? I think the answer is hiding in plain sight. And his name is 31. Remember him? Calendar design, 30 yellow blocks and 1 red block, figured himself out in Figure It Out, and then nothing. 12 seconds of screen time. The wiki confirms that he has the least physical appearances of any figured out number block. TV Tropes flags it under Chuck Cunningham syndrome. The man was introduced and then immediately shelved. And he's far from being the only one. An entire essay on the fandom wiki argued that the team blocks are being systematically sidelined. The fan calculated that number blocks 1 through 10 already had roughly 50 episodes featuring just them and called it over-protagonism that gives us an unnecessary load of 1 through 10 while keeping itself from branching to concepts featuring the bigger number blocks we do want to see. Poor 19 didn't even appear in Series 8, the only team block, by the way, to be completely absent. And the show's creators know this is a problem. The wiki documents that compound number blocks, those generic faceless designs for higher numbers, were created specifically because giving every number a unique character would mean each of them only getting a few seconds of screen time. The show's concept means its entire cast is literally infinite, and every series only has so many episodes to go around. So I think, in part, Series 8 was an admission. We've created way too many characters here, and we don't know what to do with them all. Rather than make the problem worse by introducing more, they pivoted to concept-based characters instead. But then Infinity. And then the finale happened. The space signal aired and everything changed. Infinity descended from the cosmos, golden, glowing, voiced by Brian Cox, and the fandom collectively lost it. One fan wrote, 3 Space Division episodes? I'm only going to post these at once because the Numberblocks official channel cuts out the credits, and so I found the last 2. Time to get emotional. Another called the final batch of episodes. The best batch in BU history and probably the best they will ever make. And remember, the same community had spent years furiously debating whether Infinity should even exist. One fan had ranted, God damn it, Infinity is a concept, not a number. Need proof? People claim Infinity plus any number equals infinity. However, this makes no goddamn sense. Infinity plus 1 equals infinity. Subtracting infinity from both sides, we get that 1 equals 0. Infinity is not a number and does not deserve a numbering. I'm just going to leave that comment there. Another fan had insisted before, Infinity isn't a real number block and you can't convince me otherwise. And yet, when it actually appeared on screen, those same fans were in tears. That's the power of good storytelling. That's what Numberblocks does at its absolute best. Wonder. Having said that, we're really going to need some new number blocks for Series 9, because next time we won't be so forgiving. Which number block would you guys like me to explore next on this special Numberblocks related channel, Numberblock Pie? Well done, by the way, for finding it. It's pretty low key. Fly high with Numberblock Pie. See you next time.